Hey folks, it's me Chris, and I wanted to take a few seconds of your time to talk about this awesome new opportunity that we've been presented with for all of our lovely listeners. We can now offer you all a 1-month free trial from audible.com, allowing you full access to a vast library of audiobooks to choose from. As I mentioned earlier, the trial is completely free, and all you have to do is visit audibletrial.com/GHS and follow the instructions to sign up for a free membership today. We hope you guys enjoy Audible just as much as we do, and thanks for your time. Alright guys, on that note, that was Talk Nerdy to Me. We're going to go ahead and jump head first into the swimming pool here with our nerd news. Ad and I realized we didn't really assign news pieces as we usually do.
Take the first one.
Okay, you want to just take turns? You do the first one, I'll do the next one, so on and so on?
Yeah, let's just free fall this episode. So, this news comes in, funnily enough, on April Fool's, but it's not an April Fool's. The ESRB has rated the Bioshock Collection. The story follows, yet another board has rated Bioshock the Collection, just in case you thought it wasn't happening. Following the Taiwanese rating board, as well as the Brazilian rating board, the US Entertainment Software Rating Board, or better known as ESRB, has today awarded Bioshock the Collection a content rating. According to the listing via Gamatsu, the collection includes the original Bioshock, Bioshock 2, and Bioshock Infinite. It's coming PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and was unsurprisingly awarded a mature rating. 2K has yet to confirm this, despite the numerous leaks. Funnily enough, as well, this article has spelled Bioshock wrong in every single sentence, but that's for another lesson. It's capital S in Bioshock. Right, Chris. Bioshock the Collection, what do you think? Would you be down for it?
Man, I don't know, dude, because, I'm all for HD, or not HD remasters, but remasters on newer consoles, because obviously they're gonna make it 60 frames, 1080p, all that good stuff that they usually do. But I'm also very picky with it. I don't know if I would want to get it, man, because the games play perfectly fine on the consoles I have already. So I don't know. I mean, it would have to be like a pretty sweet deal. It would have to be like maybe, oh, hey, here's, like they said, Bioshock 1, 2, and Infinite. On top of that, here's all the DLC for both games. So, they had the DLC story for Bioshock 2 and also for Infinite. If it was all that together and it was like $20 or something, I mean, I don't think I would get it day one, but if someone was like, hey, man, what do you want for Christmas or something? I'd be like, man, Bioshock the Collection. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to get that. But yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, it's always nice to do this. I would much prefer for Xbox to maybe make them backwards compatible more so than anything. But I think it's cool always to give opportunity for people to to play it. And it's pretty much all but confirmed, dude. The fact that it's fucking
yeah, it'll be announced
E3.
sometime later this year.
Yeah,
E3 or somewhere along that random. To be honest, I would pick it up, but when I get these kind of collections, and when I bought the MGS Legacy Collection, I'd like it to be in that kind of casing or something, just make it a bit more special and incentive to buy something like it. Because when you buy the Legacy Collection, you get all the discs in a really sweet case, and you get the art book and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a little bit special. And the game of Bioshock and the art being a central focus to it, and the soundtrack, they could make something really sweet from it. Maybe the soundtrack included in there or something else, and the game being a Rapture steel bookcase / Columbia steel book. Kind of almost like if it's a tear, the design in the steel book,
right? Like
Elizabeth does in the game. That would be cool. I would pick it up eventually, but it doesn't sound like it's hugely impressive. But saying that is Bioshock. Bioshock, the first game, is absolutely amazing.
Dude.
Must play for anyone. It's a brilliant game.
Yeah, it's a great that would be the perfect thing to get someone who's never played the games. Here, dude, get this. And yeah, I agree. The artwork, they would totally have to do. It would be a crime not to fucking, do anything artwork related. That game has such great art, especially for me. Infinite. God, that game looked artwork on that was so fucking great.
Yeah. Tell you what, Chris. Do you want me to take the next story? Because I know the story afterwards you like.
Yeah, go for it.
And then you can have the other story after that. So another big story came in is with concerning Final Fantasy 15. So the original story and reads, as I follow, Final Fantasy 15 sales need to reach 10 million over its lifespan if it is to be considered successful. According to Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata, the game's sale must reach 10 million units or more worldwide over its lifespan to be a success. Tabata told the press this at the recent press conference. Though the numbers may seem huge, looking at how lavishly Square Enix has invested into the game, producing an anime series, a feature-length CGI film, and a mobile game, is not very surprising. There's also the quote over its lifespan end quote point, which makes it so there's no deadline for reaching this goal. Should it reach this goal, Final Fantasy 15 will be the series' best-selling entry. Right, so adding on to this as an update for it. So per a statement released by the company, a, quote, communication problem, end quote, during the press conference resulted in the figure being misinterpreted. This quote reads, the quote reads, in fact, Tabata was referencing 10 million copies only as a high goal, which the development team set to realize their ambition to make the ultimate Final Fantasy game. The comment was never meant to be referred as a recoup line of the investment. End quote. So yeah, 10 million units for a Final Fantasy game in a space where JRPGs aren't nowhere near as popular as they once were, but there is still a market wanting it. What do you think, Chris?
Well, like the follow-up quote said, that is a hell of a high goal. But as long as they don't get disappointed, they don't reach that. Because you're right, dude. Like Final Fantasy 15, unfortunately, JRPGs aren't as popular as they were like during the PlayStation era, and to a degree the PS2 era. They kind of like died out during PS3 360 time frame. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get it. I think the game looks fucking beautiful. I love the Platinum demo. I have to give credit to Square. They're really promoting this game well by having that event, having the demo out, like what we discussed last week on the show. So 10 million. I mean, I don't know if it'll necessarily reach that. I don't know, or maybe it might. I don't know how long it would take to reach that, but I think it's gonna sell a healthy amount of copies. I think they'll definitely recoup whatever the hell they're spending to make the game. It's Final Fantasy, man.
Are you
It's like,
sure?
I think
Sure?
so, dude. I think they're gonna get back
10
their
years?
money. No, I didn't say 10 years. I said I think.
No,
that...
but 10 years of development on this game, including all the marketing.
Oh shit! Well,
reinventing a title, rebuilding it.
that is true.
The amount of hours that have probably been put on like people's wages, reconstructing a new engine. Or
I
not
was
an engine,
thinking.
more like
No, because that's a good point. I was thinking like not the 10-year development cycle. I was thinking more like from the point it became a PS4 Xbox One game. But yeah, dude, that's a good point. That game's been around for a while.
It's not as astronomically like as big as the US national debt or something. Like it's not near that, because that would probably happen if Kojima's game fell through. But no, I don't think this game will break even. Like, no way can it break even. Like, the amount of money the CGI films and everything else, like, is kind of like showing that there is a healthy investment and good marketing behind it.
Yeah.
I do think that it will become the best-selling entry in the series,
right.
Irrespective of what the quality is or how people perceive it. Because I think commercially they really have got an A-game plan, from Square Enix's side to really push this game forward. And it's going to bring back a lot of the disheartened people after Final Fantasy 13. But to break even, I think that is probably something Square is probably looking at with Final Fantasy after everything that's happened. Mm-hmm. Maybe that quote is misinterpreted for what it is, but I think it will ship the most numbers though in any franchise though. Well, in any franchise, in this franchise specifically. Sorry.
Yeah, I think, and dude, you know what they're gonna do too. Like the point you made up. It's been in development for 10 years. Without a doubt, they're gonna do sequels to this game, like a 15-2 or a 15-3. If they did it for Final Fantasy 13, they're gonna do it for 15. So they're gonna keep. I think it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Kind of left a sour taste in people's mouths. 13.
I'm tired of that. I miss the days, dude, when it was
next game.
Yeah, it was a Final Fantasy. It was the Final Fantasy for the characters.
It was the Final Fantasy on Nintendo.
I don't like that. Everyone's like, "Oh, there's gonna be another one." Then I'm like, "Well, it's not really a fucking Final Fantasy, is it?" Because if Cloud is gonna come back,
it's in the name, it's in the name. If it's not Final Fantasy, it's not a Final Fantasy. Right,
Well,
we can't break this down any more than it is, Chris. I think it's
yeah. Um,
illogical to carry this conversation anymore.
yeah. No, we'll move on to the next one. This is a really cool piece for the Resident Evil 2 remake. So, the Resident Evil 2 remake has gotten a little bit of an update from the producers. They say the game is progressing and that feedback from Resident Evil 6 is being taken on board. So, the producer of the upcoming Resident Evil 2 remake has told VideoGamer.com that work on the project is progressing, and that he hopes the game will, quote, recapture the spirit, end quote, of the original PS1 release. So, the producer in question is Yoshiaki Hirabayashi. I think I said that correctly. Who explained that, quote, that he doesn't, quote, think there's much meaning in simply saying things like, yes, I'm confident we could recapture the feeling of the original, but that they're, end quote, but that his team at Capcom is, quote, working hard on the game at the moment, and there are some reasons why I think we can capture the spirit of the first game. Then he goes on to say, as you mentioned, the first game's remake is held up as proof that a remaster can recapture the original game. And as it so happens, the RE GameCube remake was my first project at Capcom. I was able to learn from more experienced colleagues and see with my own eyes how they translated their efforts into such a masterpiece that built on an already well-received game. It was an incredibly valuable experience for me. And then he goes on to say, he says here the fine-toothed approach to the remaster of, Resident Evil 1 really showed me what my predecessors focused on during the original project, and that's been very valuable too. So, on the subject of the feedback from Resident Evil 6, because, I don't know if you guys know this, but it hasn't really been stated whether or not Resident Evil 2's remake will feature, like the static fixed camera angles of, the original game, kind of like the RE1 remake did for the GameCube, or if it's going to have, like, the modern third-person view that RE4, 5, and 6 has had. Hirabayashi said that, in response to the feedback they received of Resident Evil 6, he said, every title brings with it learning experiences, and of course I saw a lot of the feedback on Resident Evil 6 and have taken on board everything I've heard from the fans about the game, and I want to show you what it taught me with wait, what? Oh gosh. And I want to show you what it taught me with through the next experience I'll be bringing to you. And that's pretty much it. So basically, it seems as if, the producers of this game and Capcom and, what have you, are, trying to make something that, gives you that same feeling that the RE1 remake did, which was such a great remake, man. That will go down in history as one of the best remakes to a video game ever made. So it looks like they're trying to do that, but it looks like they're also not wanting to make the same mistakes that they made on RE6. So they really want this to be something that is as I think they're trying to make this as special as the RE1 remake. I don't know, dude. I know this isn't part of the story, really, but I really hope the game does have fixed camera angles, just so that it feels more like, the remake to Resident Evil 1, that kind of deal. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole news piece.
Yeah, like, it's very interesting to hear this. I mean, what more feedback can you take from Resident Evil 6 except for the kind of just the negative response people really took away from it? I think it's very self-explanatory to see where people were agitated with, just kind of same as Final Fantasy, where people took the different direction, kind of different approach a bit to, like, to heart, and how it could really deterred from what the original quote-unquote the experience of, like, a Resident Evil or Final Fantasy would be. But, like, yeah, I mean, I agree with you the Resident Evil 1 remake. I haven't played it, but, like, still, it looks amazing how they did that. Like, that's how I'd want a remake. Same with, like, if I played a Metal Gear Solid remake, I'd want it, built with the over-the-top camera. Like MGS1 originally had with Kojima's vision. Like, it is none of the MGS5 mechanics, not an open world. It doesn't need that. Like, the game is a statement of its time. It uses mechanics of that period because it is reflective of what it was for innovation and how it really changed the game. Pun intended. How big it was for that kind of, like, area of what it was actually able to achieve. So, like, that's where I always kind of have that kind of, I did I played the GameCube remake, which Shinji Mikami was involved with, and that was, like, really a good example of how reflective of a remake can be, where it's very close to its original source. But yeah, like a Resident Evil 2 remake's very interesting. I think Capcom does have big plans for it. E3 will be big for Resident Evil. I'd be very, very surprised if no Resident Evil takes like we don't see anything Resident Evil related on the stage of like one of
Yeah.
the press conferences. I'd be shocked. Like it is, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like it is now happening. It's Capcom's formula.
Yeah. Dude, how cool would it be like if one of the conferences opened with like the door loading screen of Resident Evil
Yeah.
2 and then it just bam kicks you into the RE2 remake and you're just like, "Oh, cuz they've been working on it I think enough that they could I think by E3 that's in what, like June? I think they have enough time to have something prepared, like a presentation at least.
Mhm.
But yeah, dude, great points. I can't wait to see more of it. It's great hearing the positivity they're putting out. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they're actually doing, man. It looks I mean it looks like it's gonna be a good remake.